Hey friends, so it's time to start getting the log house here ready for disassembly so that I can set it on the foundation and put the roof on it. So I need to cut an angled cut on the top logs of this house for the roof rafters to sit on, just like this. So I'll set the laser up here. I need to get a perfectly straight, level cut at exactly the right angle the entire distance. But the logs are crooked, they're round. They're tapering over 12 inches on that huge 62-foot span, and this cut has to be perfectly level at exactly the same height on both sides of this so that the rafters will sit perfectly level at the right angle. The big problem is that if I mark this log on both ends with the exact place it needs cut, I take it off the wall and I set it down here flat and I saw it perfectly flat. When I take that log and I place it back on the house, it's gonna be off a lot. The problem is that this log is so big and it's so long that it's bending in between each of these notches. Sometimes it bends up, sometimes down, and really I can't replicate the way it's bending there on the ground. If it was a 30-foot log, it would be such a small difference it wouldn't matter, but because it's so long and the lever is so significant, I'm gonna use my little jig that I invented here. I'm gonna set it on these top logs, find all the measurements where I need to make the angled cut so that when I take it off, it's gonna be precise. The jig I invented in action, it is truly working amazing. Thought maybe about trying to snap a chalk line on here, but trying to get it at that exact angle to snap down, it's gonna sag and come out of angle when you snap it. It's just not gonna work. I knew I could do it, but I knew it wouldn't be top notch. Storm's coming. Please don't fall. Holy fuck, that would hurt. You really would. I've had that happen. You're ripping on her and then it just goes. It's a whole bunch of problems with one big root problem. This house is too long. It's not that it's too big, but that it's too long. The shit you have to do even just to find these big logs and to get them to work, it's absolutely insane. One down, like a gajillion to go. I'm cutting this angle into the top log so that my roof rafters can sit just like this. Pretty good. Definitely pretty good. One down, one more to go. So now I've effectively made one great big zigzaggy line. It's not straight on the ground, but it will be straight on the top of the house. My friend Kenny gifted me this chainsaw, and it brings me genuine happiness to run. Like, I just feel way cooler than I am every single time I run this chainsaw. So you can see this is just perfect because I'm getting like a 6-inch flat, perfect to set the roof on. But look, I'm hardly removing any wood. I'm keeping the log super strong. I use these saws a lot. I can't hear nothing. I'm not happy with how this saw is cutting, and I don't have very much control over it, over my cut. And that's because this is starting to look pretty wore on the bar. And it's precise work, so I need things tip top. But I got the big 3-footer here. It's a little bit too much bar for what I'm doing. Like, it's nicer to not have to worry where the end of this thing is. You can see how tight that is in the groove. And this is milling chain. Who knows last time I've sharpened it. This is just so much better, it's not even funny. I can control it on both sides. You know, honestly guys, I've been working on the foundation and everything over there for the house for so long. It's been long enough since I've worked on logs, and I kind of got to knock the rust off. Like, I don't have as good a feel as I usually do. Normally I would have felt that play a lot sooner in the bar. I kind of didn't, so. So I didn't really want to have to buy this. This is like the cheapest high pressure one I could find. Some of them are like 800 bucks and probably last better. Like, seen one on sale, 850 with the Honda engine. That was probably a good move, but I did not want to spend that much money. Okay, let's see what we can do with this here. So I have this job off the rip, and then also after that, it's nice to have a pressure washer to wash vehicles and other log projects. And well, I'm gonna find use for this. Often I find myself like, oh, I don't know if I should buy that, it's a little expensive. And then often after I do buy it, there's been very few tools that I've bought that I don't use a ton. It just seems like with how much I got going on, there's always a good use for a lot of these things. Try to see if I know how to run this damn thing. Okay, I'll learn how to use this thing. We'll get right to work. You can see how much lighter these are after I pressure wash them versus this side, which I haven't washed yet. But I'm not actually trying to lighten the logs at this stage. I'll show you why I'm pressure washing this. A log like this one here would be just the perfect one to pressure wash because it's got all these dimples that you can't really get in there to clean out. It's really hard to. You cannot plane that out. See, they're filled with bark. That's not good. But I can't. So you can see all the holes within this piece that you just can't clean out, but you can probably also see that there is another robin living in here again. So I don't want to blast her little eggs away, so I'll just wait to do that later. Probably when it's on the ground and a lot easier to do. I'm getting quite chicken shit of what I'm doing here now, friends. Just to be honest with you, I might have to pivot what I'm doing because I've been building this house for a long time. It's been sitting out here getting rained on and getting wet. Not all that different to what I'm doing right now. But because these logs, they're all stacked nice so they protect each other, and all the joints and the natural curvature of logs makes them shed water, and I've really made an effort to treat them often. They've stayed really nice over that time frame. But I've been trying to keep water away from the joints and try not to force it into the saddles or nothing. But I'm a little bit worried about putting that pressure in and forcing water into places that will take a very long time to dry. You can see I did this less than 24 hours ago. It is for the most part quite dry. But I may be better off to do this right before it comes apart, because then all the logs are going to be set out so that they're able to dry and I'm not going to trap moisture anywhere. I don't even really want to be thinking about windows right now. I want to be taking my log house apart and setting it up. But you have to be so far ahead of yourself because you can't really cut this nice once it's set up. It's very hard to do. When I first started, I was like, well, I can do a log in X amount of time and I'll just throw this many logs on every day. Yeah, right. There's so much planning that goes into all these different areas. It's just not how it goes. There's so much more to it. This log here, I had to make sure that things were level and that this was an adequate size log, that when I placed it and come and cut my windows here, now that this would be a nice cut here, that this wouldn't be up here. But I also have to make sure that I have enough extra cut that when the house shrinks, which it will, that I do not crush the doors and windows. But I do not know how much this house is going to shrink. These logs have already been drying for a couple years. But I got a ton of huge windows. Every single thing is harder with logs. Windows are not that hard regularly, but making some lunch. Oh, fuck. I'm trying to get them look nice so they're all straight on the top, but I can't do that and disregard the structural aspect of things either. I got this all set. You see this log is quite level, so this is working out really good for my door and window. But then I also would prefer if these adjacent windows were at the same height so they didn't look wonky. Like this is one room here. So I was able to get them level on the top, but then here's the thing. If I try and get this cut about here, which is where it works out, that's going to be in a very dangerous zone over here. That's just not going to work. So it is quite the balancing act. And like, I planned this so much when I set these logs and the logs before these header logs to make sure that things are level, and they're quite good. I got to be happy with it. Now I need to drill a hole right from the top all the way through these logs so that it's hidden and you can't see the hole and it doesn't come out the side. And all I can think is, how the hell am I gonna do that? Okay, this is supposed to be the drill bit. It was hard to even find, but I gotta drill holes through these logs, which is going to be extremely difficult. So I'm gonna try practicing this here. I got all these beautiful beams in the house, I love them. But there's posts here that notch in that I gotta get measured and cut out. And then on top of that, where the frame walls meet the beams, I spent a lot of time to get them really good and level, but now it's been so long of working on other stuff that things have come out. Like these posts need adjusted. Everything is out of whack, which is frustrating. It's a little difficult to adjust my beams with my little birdies here, and I quite like these robins, so trying not to get them, you know, like before long they'll jump out of the nest and fly away, so try and keep them undisturbed here. Maybe I'll jack it up here where it's not gonna bug them. Don't worry, bird on, just she's not too happy with me, but I'm trying to leave them alone. Better watch I don't get my eyes pecked out here. So the way I'm doing this is definitely not the fastest way. To use a router, I don't have one. If you had a router, it would work really good. But I really like the finished result of how these look when they're precisely cut in here. This, see, I got it flat, but I still got to go in further to conceal that edge. So I'll just keep chipping away here. Okay, I'll just keep chipping away. The rain has been shutting me down a lot lately. And it's about to storm here, so I should quit fucking around. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Good. Out of all the big projects in this video, this one's definitely the simplest, but this electrical box is meant to be installed in seconds on a 2x4 wall. You just stick it on the 2x4, nail it in, it's done. You can see it's not quite that simple with the logs. Much is the case for everything. But don't get me wrong, this is very enjoyable work for me, and when finally everything is figured out and it's time to put the outlets in, it's simple, and it's simple to just work all day and get it done. What makes it really difficult is that with the added complexities of logs, everything has to be planned to a whole nother level, so many further steps in advance. I don't have to do any electrical planning. I really don't have to do any electrical planning or plug layout for any of the frame walls or that ICF. Like, it can just all be put wherever, it can be changed, it can be whatever. There's none of that flexibility or privilege of that with the log wall. If I get it wrong, it's wrong. Beautiful. This is kind of what's ideal. I was able to level these plugs, they're level to each other, and then on the adjacent wall, it's set at the same height, but that often doesn't work out. But I won't be able to get them at the same height on this adjacent wall because it would end up here, and that just won't work. You can see I kind of have two options. I can either go lower than usual or higher than usual. I think I'll probably go higher here just because of how these plugs will be used. Okay, I got all the electrical outlets cut in now. And now I gotta drill all the holes for the wires and such. I'm very nervous. Like, super nervous about this. If I'm off really probably 1-2 degrees here, by the time this hole gets to the bottom, it's gonna be coming out the side of the wall. So I'm gonna try not to fuck anything up here. Okay, I think it was a success. all the holes. You know, I wasn't totally sure how all this sand would hold up before I put the grass on. I knew it would be a solid base, but it rained like over an inch last night. It's been soaking wet. Check this out. I'm able to drive on here with my truck and like I'm not even close to getting stuck. And you can see the slope of all this. It rained it stormed like an inch in 20 minutes. So it washed out the roads and it's like washed. You can see how the slope of this place is working. Drain all the water off and away from the house. Which is especially good for my little crane because it's only 2-wheel drive and it doesn't move very good if it's muddy. I mean, it poured. You see all this water come down here and it did wash this out a little bit, but now they just need that to drain. This is the plywood for the floor that the log house will sit on. I'm excited. When I come over here, things are easy and simple. When I go over there, they are not. Everything to do with logs just, it seems to make it harder. One little birdie left to leave. Hopefully she gets the chance to fly away. I don't think Mom's coming back to Fiji, bud. I'm really trying to give her, and I want this house set up on the foundation. It's been my goal for a long time. It can be really frustrating sometimes with this seemingly million-piece puzzle. You know, when everything is brand new and so complicated, and I'm trying to get everything right and as best as I can. It can be really frustrating when you're really trying to give her how many problems you run into with things you got to figure out. Especially with the logs, you got to be a million steps ahead. And I don't have the experience to reflect on to see how these things will go a lot of the time. So I'm hoping I got it figured out so I can really go here for a good while and get to the complications of the roof and such. I want to thank John, Lyle, and Chris, all who have talked to me about these things throughout the course of this video, different aspects of what you have seen. So anyway, friends, I hope everyone's doing just great. I'm feeling better now all this shit is done, and I can't wait to get on to the next big projects and really get this thing moving here. Summer is too damn short. Catch you on the next one, friends. Hope everybody's doing just great.